Xin Chao, what's up everybody? Alright, so today's video is going to be a bunch of news on a bunch of different topics, most cases reported in a single day, vaccine passport stuff, all kinds of good things we're going to be talking about today. I'd appreciate it if you do like this video to smash the like button after you watch it. If you dislike this video, destroy the dislike button. If you want to leave a comment, you could also leave a comment. If you want to subscribe to the channel, see more news videos and me just all over Saigon and other places in Vietnam, and then soon to be world traveling after this is over, probably sometime in 2022. Once these lockdowns are over, we'll get back to vlogging in Saigon and all around Vietnam again. So right now I'm the Vietnam guy. But yeah, the first big statistic is, let's see. 3,379 cases reported today. Over 2,000 were in Saigon alone, which is disheartening. But, you know, Ho Chi Minh City, after 7 days of social distancing, according to Directive 16, the number of community cases has decreased, is what they're reporting on the news. Now, before I get to everything else, I really want to talk about why they're doing these strict lockdowns and why a lot of people from like America and all over are like, this is the stupidest thing ever. All it's doing is destroying economies, yada, yada, yada. I would like to sort of think on that hand as well. But, you know, it's the Delta variant. You guys weren't dealing with the Delta variant. It runs wild, way more harder. Granted, the death rate isn't as bad. It infects more people, and it could put more people potentially in the hospital, and they could run out of supplies, oxygen, staff, etc. So I think that's their big concern there. So they're attempting to mitigate the damage by doing these, you know, draconian-like lockdowns, which, you know, it seems to be working. Am I stoked about it? No. Would I like to be going for a run and doing all this stuff? Yes. They're really trying to get the vaccines now. You know, they're probably starting to focus all their energy on just getting vaccines. Johnson & Johnson was approved today. So the lockdowns are pretty strong, to be honest with you. You know, you can't really go anywhere. You have to have a negative test result, and you have to have a reason for going somewhere. You will get stopped. Some people on foot don't have too big of an issue, but if you're on a motorbike, you're most likely going to get stopped and asked what you're doing, where you're going, maybe even turn back home if they don't like why. You can find dozens of articles on all the different newses, VN Express, TUORITRE.VN. All these websites, the Viet ones, can be seen on Chrome and just translate to English, which is what I do. The English ones come out so much later with information, and they don't translate every article. So I recommend that you do it yourself. Yeah, so the Johnson & Johnson was approved. Granted, I know a lot of you don't like the Johnson & Johnson and don't think it's very effective. It's still effective to where you don't die if you get it, and you tend to be more asymptomatic if you do get it. And yeah, I think the Johnson & Johnson is the one I'd focus on Vietnam to get. I'm sure Johnson & Johnson's going to have a booster shot, just like all the others are going to have a third shot for the Delta variant. So I think it would be a good first shot for here. 69. There's been 69 dead in Ho Chi Minh since June 7th till now. So yeah, let's see. They're having to, like, since there's so many rumors started on the internet every day here about this thing. Like, the big one yesterday was that there would be no delivery of any sort today, and there would be like even more hardcore lockdowns, which thankfully didn't happen, but it caught on like fire and spread everywhere on the social media, and the grocery stores were just enamored yesterday, panic buying again. Everything was completely out of stock, even at all the markets here in Golden River. Now, I'll just go, you know, once in the morning, once at night, and usually I can collect enough stuff for 2 or 3 days worth of food. So I'm still not panic hoarding or buying a bunch of stuff and, you know, hoarding it. I just go to the market every day and get what we need. So yeah, I'm still against buying, you know, 17 watermelons like I saw this lady the other day. It just doesn't make sense to me. What are you going to do with 17 watermelons? I see a lot of those kind of purchases. A couple people tried to make, well, you don't know who they're buying for. You don't know if they're buying for their Their whole family. I mean, it's Golden River. How are you going to buy for a whole family here? You can't fit too many in an apartment. I don't see what the purpose of somebody buying 15 watermelons at Golden River would be, unless they have like a serious addiction to watermelon and that's all they're eating, and they're on maybe some kind of like juice diet for watermelon. Again, like, even if you are, I don't think you need to buy 15 of something. She could probably have gotten 3 to 5, 2 to 3, and been responsible, and then just checked it, the next time she needed it again. The Ministry of Health announced the number of COVID-19 patients who died. Yeah, we already went over that. Ho Chi Minh City, wanted death row, 5-star. Okay, so let's see. Hanoi is slowly picking up cases as well. They're in a soft sort of lockdown again. No haircut, restaurant, blah, blah, blah. Da Nang's reporting cases. I suspect that they'll be in some kind of soft or hard lockdown coming up. It won't take long for them to get into that lockdown. Here's our first shot I showed you. Yo. It's Genro, baby. So, again, before we get to the next thing, I want to say thanks again. I'm still getting condolences from all you guys on my father. He passed away from heart failure. Remember, he was in his 80s. He lived a long life. So I appreciate your kind words and kind gestures on the passing of my father. My family appreciates it too. Everybody seems to be doing pretty well with it now. We kind of knew it was coming, but didn't think it was going to come that fast. One of those type of scenarios. So the other big thing that's happening is the drivers, the work, like kind of if you got to work at manufacturing now, you almost have to stay at the work job. And they've got these like little tents set up on site. It doesn't look the most enjoyable, but I get it. Again, I get it. Thank you, brave entrepreneurs. You can read on those articles for yourself, but essentially the business has to pay for everything. They have to pay if there's a quarantine for the quarantine. They have to pay for the food, all that stuff, housing on site, all that good stuff. Let's see, what else? Let's jump over to VN Express. We read that. Ho Chi Minh City Hospital split to treat COVID-19. Another, yes, flooded houses, car stalled. There's heavy rain all day today, which I'm sure wreaked havoc. Place for workers. Businesses want Ho Chi Minh City to lend a place for workers to stay. Now, I kind of heavily agree with this one. If you saw, they're just living in little tents 6 feet apart with like a little tiny thin mat and a fan. Some don't even have a fan. It doesn't look the funnest. We can talk about the sandbox stuff next. But it's very difficult to travel around. There's checkpoints everywhere. From here, from my building, I can see no less than 6 checkpoints. They've got the main one with somebody set up, and then like the secondary entrances to like a little neighborhood or a ward completely like fenced off or barbed wired off. So you have to go through the main blockade to get into the thing, and they check your paperwork usually. Some get through without. It seems that they're kind of randomly doing it from what I can see from my balcony. There's not many cars out during the day. You don't see anybody vending anything. It's even more quiet than Tet. Again, this is in my neighborhood. I'm sure if you get outside of Saigon into the suburb areas and out of the center of it, you're going to see more people out and about and less lax of rules. I can't confirm that either. So I know a lot of people are having a problem getting food though, because everybody's just, when somebody goes to the grocery store, if they see chicken, like they'll buy 5 packs. Like just buy the pack you need for, like, if everyone just did their job and just bought 1 or 2 things, I don't care if you even have a large family, you still don't need more than 2 packs of chicken. Even if you got like 6 to 7 people. And I'm mainly talking about like around my area. I've seen some insane hoarding in other areas on the internet as well, where like one dude's buying like raw mai, like a whole cart of it. I mean, I think a lot of that's resell because they're very business orientated here in these trying times. So let me bump on over to VN Express on the American side, because they post all the like sandbox stuff on there. So we might as well get it from the American translated article. Oh no, it's fine. My shirt's fine. Show a little skin. Sex sells. I'm a sex machine. No, I'm just joking, guys. So fake vaccine passports pose risk but manageable for Vietnam experts. So, this was speculated by me and a bunch of subscribers when they first announced this thing, how easy it would be to forge a vaccine passport from some random country or a country of origin. They're saying it's not a big idea. They're gonna have a digitalized system. Now, the things I'm all about to talk about, I don't think are going to happen for a while. Like, they're already starting to vaccinate Phu Quoc as of, I think today, if today's Thursday. Yeah. So they started to vaccinate Phu Quoc, which, again, I'm not the government. I'm not a professional. I don't know anything about this stuff, but it's for me, a weird move. I think you would push all the vaccines to Saigon and try to get as close to 10 million people vaccinated on their first dose, because it really significantly hinders the death rate on this thing. The Delta we're really dealing with the Delta variant too, by the way. We're not dealing with your original COVID that you guys did, and you adamantly say, it's ridiculous what Vietnam's doing right now. Again, you're not a government. I'm not a government. We've never ran a country. It's very easy for us to be armchair experts and say what should be done, and look what happened in this other place. But I don't think it quite works that way. I think with the cards that they're dealt and with how many cases are rising, probably for the best on what they did. Am I stoked about it? No. Would I like to be able to go for a run and go do a bunch of stuff? Of course. So, yeah. But again, I'm acknowledging that I am not a professional in pandemic containment and all these things, and running a city and the infrastructure behind it, and I'm sure not many of us are, to be honest with you. Although there may be a few people on here that have had some business in that, Again, for me, I'm pretty healthy mentally. I'm doing the kettlebell every day. I'm doing my best to stay in shape. I'm eating very clean, pretty much, intermittent fasting, one meal a day, sometimes two, but they're salads, they're chickens, there's no junk food. It's kind of cool that there is no delivery food, because I can't tempt myself for the cheater meal even. Sure, I could go make something crappy, but COVID-19 vaccine passports are being forged in many countries, but Vietnam can reduce the risk by containing quarantine requirements and cooperating with others to digitalize them, as experts said. So again, that's going to be the whole problem. Excuse me, going loud on the mic. That's going to be the whole problem with these things we're about to talk about. They're thinking about Nha Trang now. They're doing Phu Quoc, Quinyen, Ga Quai Kaum, Ga Quai Kaum. That means how are you in Vietnamese? No good? She's tired. Winnie did get the vaccine, so she's third day from having the AstraZeneca, which was, it's a long story, but essential worker, blah, 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 business got it, blah, 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 forced to take it, blah, blah, blah. No real choice in it. So that's their thinking behind the fake vaccine thing, is even if it's fake, they're still going to make you do a 14-day quarantine and all the testing. So again, who's going to want to really do this? This gets into the next thing I want to talk about, these potential sandbox. Who's going to want to go to Phu Quoc for 14 days that's not going to come here to live? You're talking a very limited segment. If you look at Phuket in Thailand, their hotels are booked 18 to 20%. So, because it's only going to be people wanting to go there and live there. I don't know of too many people that have a 1 month vacation. I mean, maybe if you own your business and stuff, but a real passport. The certificate could not be checked like a real passport with a hologram, and immigration officers in other countries could not verify it's authentic or fake. So, I mean, they need to have a digital system. I don't think that's going to be up and running, again, till the end of the year, going into next year. It's just, it is what it is. Let's see here. Hold on. Let me load up the next page. Con Hao prepares plans to trial vaccine passport. Home to the tourist hotspot Nha Trang. So they're going to amp up Nha Trang to as well, even though they never approved the Quang Ninh one, by the way. So that was just talked about. Just like this has gotten thrown out. Like this one just came out of nowhere today. Like, hey, let's do Nha Trang. It probably really won't go anywhere. And I don't think the timeline is going to be anytime soon. I mean, they have to dedicate 130,000 vaccines to Phu Quoc to get that going. And then they're targeting, from the way I've read it, it doesn't say it in this new article, but in the last one, they're eyeing like Russia and South Korea mainly. That's it. Like those two countries. So I don't know of too many. Maybe there's some really rich Russians that have, 4 weeks to spare, or some really. I just don't see it being feasible unless you're moving here. I really don't see the thing here. But let's read this little daddy. Can Hao, home to tourist hotspot Nha Trang, plans to trial a program to welcome vaccinated foreign tourists later this year with several restrictions. Authorities in the central province have designed the Department of Tourism to prepare a detailed roadmap for the program and submit it to the government for approval. So nothing's gotten approved for all this stuff, by the way. They all they write these great articles and announce this news, but nothing gets approved. So I would not have your hopes up for any of this in any kind of way. Now, to pivot a little bit, we'll get back into the article, but I can confirm that if you're getting a legit expert visa that's not fake in any kind of way, a real company's doing it, you have a real college degree in that field, you have actual work experience in that field, they are still getting approved and done. So I just had somebody in the Discord get all their approved, and they're all on the legit up and up. He did it all on his own. I don't facilitate any services like that. I never have. That's not what my YouTube channel is about. I'm not trying to make a little extra money off getting people to Vietnam. That's just not my lane. There are plenty of other YouTubers that is their lane, so I suggest if you want to do that, you can check them out. I would do your homework on the back end of that and make sure it's something you want to do. But as of now, it's still clamped down. Do I think that will be forever? Probably not. Most likely things will go back the way it was after the pandemic's handled. It's kind of the Vietnam way, to be honest with you. Well, authorities in central provinces assigned the Department of Tourism to prepare a detailed roadmap for the program submitted to the government for approval. They have said the pilot vaccine passport program will be only carried out on a small scale with little impact on local socio-economic activities and people's lives around. The Provincial Tourism Department has proposed that in the first phase of the program, starting at the end of the year, foreign tourists would arrive in chartered flights, stay in sequestered beach resorts on Long Beach and Cam Ranh Peninsula, around 45 kilometers from Nha Trang. They will be securely escorted and only allowed to play golf and visit tourist destinations around the peninsula. So I can tell you right there, play golf, that is 100% targeted behind Koreans. That is 100% of the market they're looking at for that particular area is to get South Koreans in and let them play golf for 2 weeks, which kind of makes sense. Again, they're vague on the details, but we'll try to get into it. The department is eyeing Russia and South Korea, the biggest feeder markets for the Canhao tourism, and some other countries that have successfully contained the COVID-19 pandemic. Foreign tourists would need to furnish a certificate showing they are fully vaccinated with a vaccine approved by Vietnam. For a double shot vaccine, the second one must have been taken between 12 months and 14 days before the data entry. Those who've been infected and have recovered must furnish a certificate from the country of treatment. The discharge date must fall within the previous 12 months. Visitors must also present a negative PCR test done 72 hours before departure. Nha Trang, Cam Ranh, which has long been tourist hotspots in Vietnam. Break. Nha Trang's one of my favorite spots, and right above it is one of my other favorite spots. What the hell is the name of that? What's the one above Nha Trang that we went to first? Above Nha Trang, the first place we went to when we traveled. The first location, the first city. Quy Nhon. So I like both those places a lot. I think Nha Trang's great. It's a little weird that there's nothing open and nothing to do there. It's just like when I was there, just sailing club, which isn't ideal. I couldn't find a bar open to save my life, and this was pre this new outbreak. In 2019, the year before the onset, Can Hao welcomed over 7 million tourists, a year-on-year increase of 13%, including 3.56 million foreigners. Several localities have been considering a pilot vaccine program after the Politburo, the main decision-making body of the Communist Party, called for such schemes last month, allowing foreign visitors to come visit some tourist destinations after containing the pandemic. Phu Quoc, the famous tourist island off the Mekong Delta province of Kinyang, is planning a trial, a 6-month vaccine passport program starting this October, welcoming 40,000 foreign tourists to the island. Is planning a trial, a 6-month. Oh, so they're going to try for 6 months, starting from October. That is, if everything gets vaccinated and everything gets approved and all that stuff. Honestly, I wouldn't hold my breath for the October Phu Quoc. And as it's been read before, they're not really targeting any audience but Russia and South Korea and possibly China. So if you're in America, it's very doubted that you'll be able to get in on this via that route. Vietnam closed its border and canceled all international flights in March last year. Only Vietnamese repatriates. Somebody always tries to correct me on how to say it. Probably never going to get it right. So just deal with it. Foreign experts, diplomats, investors, and highly skilled workers have been allowed since with stringent quarantine requirements. Now, we kind of know that latter part isn't the most, hence the lockdowns that happened in Da Nang. Let's read over the Phu Quoc one, and I think we're gooch for the day. Tourism Ministry. To enter Phu Quoc, foreign tourists need to furnish a vaccination certificate showing they've got 2 shots of COVID. The second shot, same information from the last video, 14 and 12 months. 14 days, 12 months. COVID recovered, same thing. Besides visitor PCR, same thing. Vaccinate at least 70% of the island, working in tourism by September, which in my opinion is a weird flex. But again, I'm not the government. Maybe they really, want to get that going. I had a few sips of beer. I have 1 beer a night or every 2 days, and give me a little bit of gas. My apologies. Let's see. Tourism officials said Vietnam's largest island is relatively isolated. I think the Phu Quoc's the best way to go. It shouldn't be. I mean, I'm not telling the government or saying anything they're doing is a bad idea. They're smarter than me. But if it's me, I do just Phu Quoc. I try to get them vaccinated. I don't make it a priority to have it by that soon. I have a priority to have it maybe after we've got some containment here, and then we can start vaccinating that island and worrying about getting foreign tourists here. But again, that's their plan. The reason why Phu Quoc is picked as well is it's a visa-free entry for 30 days since 2014. So I mean, yeah, the economy's tough right now. Restaurants are going to be closed for 15 days, maybe longer. Who knows? I hope they don't extend this thing. I hope they get it under control. Economies are being affected, but again, we don't have the vaccine like a lot of you guys do, so we can't just have shit open and be fine. And we don't have the same variants a lot of you were messing around with either when you were in your lockdown. We have a much more quicker spreading, more airborne variant, the Delta variant. So as ever, I'll keep you guys updated. I keep promising to do daily content. It's just difficult with like not much positivity. I mean, me and Wynn stay pretty positive here, but like there's nothing really good to talk about. And like I don't want to make a video just to make a video. So I've been deeply considering like what to like pigeon to the side that you may want to see. Maybe like a day in the life of like when I wake up and kind of, but we already did one of those on the very first lockdown. So I'm kind of, just struggling with stuff to come up to shoot that's not highly repetitive of what I've done before. I've done cost of living. I've done so many things. So if you have any good ideas and you've seen my catalog of videos, I would really appreciate that in the comment section. As ever, guys, I appreciate you. There is a new Patreon podcast up. I appreciate all you Patreons. Thank you for the PayPal tippers this month. You guys have been great. As ever, I really appreciate you guys. Stay frosty. See you on the next one. Winnie, take him out with a large peace out.
Peace out.